Ladies, have you ever looked in the mirror first thing in the morning and thought, wow, my hair just isn't what it used to be? Maybe it feels thinner. Maybe those silver strands are showing up more and more. Or maybe that haircut you loved for years suddenly makes your face look tired and heavy. I've even heard some women whisper, well, after 50, maybe it's too late to look beautiful. Every time I hear that, my heart aches, because I know it's not true. Beauty doesn't disappear with age. It simply takes on a new form, and it deserves to be expressed in new ways. Turning 50, 60, it's not the end of youth. In fact, it's the beginning of something richer. By now, we've lived, we've learned, we've grown. We've earned the right to shine in our own way. The secret is often as simple as the right haircut. The right style can brighten your face, lift your spirit, and make you feel 10 years younger. The wrong one, though, can drag you down and make you look older than you really are. That's why today, I want to sit down with you, like girlfriends chatting over coffee, and share 5 haircuts that will instantly help you look fresher, more elegant, and more youthful. And I'll also show you 5 styles that, honestly, it's best to avoid. These aren't rigid rules, just lessons I've gathered from years of working with amazing, mature women like you. And if this sounds like what you've been looking for, I'd love for you to hit that subscribe button to join me here on Bold After 50. Every week, I'll bring you real-life fashion tips, beauty advice, and inspiration so we can step confidently and stylishly into this incredible stage of life together. Youthful haircut #1, the soft layered bob. Ladies, have you ever walked out of the salon, looked in the mirror, and instead of smiling, you sighed? I've heard so many women over 50 tell me, no matter what I try, every cut just makes me look older. And I get it. After 50, our hair changes. It's thinner, it's lost some of its shine, and if we choose the wrong cut, our face can instantly look tired or weighed down. But let me tell you about a moment I'll never forget. A client of mine, 61 years old, petite with a slightly square face, sat in my chair and said, "Don't expect miracles, my hair's just too thin now." I smiled and suggested, "What about a soft layered bob?" She hesitated. She'd only ever worn her hair straight, blunt, and chin length. Still, she agreed to give it a try. When I finished the last layer and turned her toward the mirror, her eyes lit up like she'd just discovered a younger version of herself. She laughed out loud and said, "Oh my gosh, how do I look this young again?" That's the magic of the soft layered bob. And honestly, it's a moment every woman deserves to experience. So what makes this cut so special? First, layers create movement. Instead of hair just hanging flat, the softness lifts your face, like a flowing dress that sways gently when you walk. Suddenly, your features look lighter and brighter. Second, it works with every hair type. Fine hair looks fuller, while thick hair feels less heavy and more modern. Third, add a side-swept bang and you've got instant forehead coverage that softens lines and draws attention right to your eyes, our most beautiful feature after 50. And here's the best part. It's easy. No hours with a blow dryer, no complicated styling. Whether you air dry, smooth it out, or add a little wave, it always looks polished without effort. Picture yourself walking into a family gathering. Before anyone can even ask, "What's your secret?" You'll already hear the gasps. "Wow, you look amazing." That's the power of a haircut that supports your face instead of pulling it down. If I had to compare it to fashion, I'd call the soft, layered bob the midi silk dress with a graceful flair. Elegant enough for a party, simple enough for everyday life, and always flattering. And once you feel how freeing and youthful it is, you'll understand. Hair isn't just hair, it's a mirror of your spirit. When your hair feels good, you feel good. You smile more, you step out with confidence, and the world notices. But here's the thing. For every great cut, there's also a version that does the opposite. The blunt, straight bob might look classic, but for most of us after 50, it can be surprisingly aging. In the next section, I'll tell you exactly why this style is one you might want to think twice about. Haircut to avoid hash one, the blunt, straight bob. Ladies, do you remember the last time you saw someone with a perfectly blunt, straight-across bob? At first glance, it looks neat, classic, even polished. But if you looked a little longer, maybe you thought to yourself, why does she look so serious, almost older than she really is? That's exactly the effect of the blunt bob. It seems timeless, but after 50, it quietly adds years to our appearance. I had a client once, 59 years old. She loved structure and insisted on keeping her chin-length, blunt cut, no layers, no bangs. She sat down and said, "I just want something clean and proper, nothing soft or flowy." I respected her wish and simply cleaned up the edges. But when we finished, she looked in the mirror, sighed, and said, "Why does my face look like it's being pulled down?" And she was right. That sharp line framed her face like a heavy picture frame, blocking out any softness. So why does the blunt bob work against us? First, a straight, heavy line emphasizes every angle of the jaw and neck. If there's even a little sagging, it puts it on full display. Second, fine hair looks thinner without layers to create volume. Thick hair, on the other hand, becomes one bulky block, like wearing a helmet. Third, the lack of movement is the real enemy of youth. When hair doesn't move, the whole face looks stiff, and stiffness almost always reads as older. If I compared it to fashion, the blunt bob is like wearing a boxy coat made of stiff fabric. It can look chic on a 25 or 30-year-old with perfectly smooth skin, but at 50 or 60, it makes us look severe instead of sophisticated. Here's the good news. The difference a few soft layers make is incredible. Another client of mine, in her early 60s, had worn a blunt bob for years. I finally convinced her to try a layered version. The moment she looked in the mirror, she said, "Yes, that's me." Her whole face looked lifted, her energy brighter. That's the power of softness and movement. I don't say this to dismiss the blunt bob, it has its time and place, but every age has its best match. At 25, it can be edgy. At 60, what we need is lightness, lift, and glow, and the blunt bob simply can't give us that. So if you're still wearing a sharp, straight bob, ask yourself, am I unknowingly adding years to my look? Maybe it's time to let go of that harsh line and invite in a little softness. And once you realize how much heaviness a blunt bob adds, you'll also see that long, heavy hair with no shape can drag your face down in the very same way. Up next, I'll share a story about just that, and why overly long, shapeless hair is the second style we should think twice about after 50. Youthful haircut #2, the shoulder-length cut with gentle layers. Tell me if this sounds familiar. When your hair is long, it feels heavy and hard to manage. But when you cut it short, you worry it takes away your femininity. So many of my clients sigh and say, "I just don't know what length works, something that looks youthful but still elegant." And here's the answer I love to share: a shoulder-length cut with soft, gentle layers. It's one of the most reliable, flattering choices for women in their 50s and 60s. I remember a client of mine, 58 years old, who always kept her hair tied back. She told me, "I can't wear it down. When I do, my face looks droopy." I suggested, "Let's try shoulder length, add a few soft layers, and let it fall naturally." She laughed and said, "That sounds like a lot of work," but she trusted me. When we finished and she looked in the mirror, her eyes lit up. "Oh wow, I look like I'm in my 40s again." So what makes this cut so special? First, shoulder length is the sweet spot. It's not so short that you lose softness, but not so long that it drags your face down. Think of it like a perfectly tailored blazer, just structured enough but still flattering and fun. Second, the light layering creates natural movement. Fine hair looks fuller, while thick hair feels lighter and less overwhelming. Third, it's versatile. Wear it loose for a soft, relaxed look. Add a little wave for extra charm. Or pull it into a low ponytail when you need something sleek and practical. Another bonus, it works for almost every face shape. If your face is round, the layers help elongate it. If it's square, the soft pieces falling near the collarbone add just the right touch of femininity. And if you want to elevate it even more, add a little color dimension, subtle highlights, a caramel tone, or chestnut brown. I always tell clients, a touch of light in your hair is like lighting a candle in a room. It instantly feels warmer and more radiant. Picture this. You walk into your high school reunion after decades. Instead of asking, "What cream are you using?" your old friends say, "Wow, you look so youthful and elegant." That's the power of a shoulder-length cut with gentle layers. It's not just a haircut. It's a bridge between elegance and energy. It lets you keep the softness of longer hair while adding the freshness that shorter styles bring. But here's the caution. If your hair slips past your shoulders without shape or layers, it quickly becomes heavy and starts dragging your face down. And that brings us to the next hairstyle you'll want to think twice about, the overly long, shapeless cut. I'll share a true story about why this style often does more harm than good after 50. Haircut to avoid hash 2. Long, heavy, shapeless hair. Have you ever believed that the longer the hair, the more feminine and attractive? I know many of us have carried that belief for years. But the truth is, after 50 or 60, long hair isn't always the loyal friend it once was. In fact, it can quietly become a burden on your face and your confidence. I'll never forget a client of mine, 63 years old, who came in with hair all the way down her back. She told me, "This long hair is my youth. I can't let it go." And I understood long hair holds memories. But when she let it fall, her ends were thin and stringy, while the weight at the top dragged her whole face down. When she smiled, the sparkle in her eyes was hidden under the heaviness of her hair. After a lot of gentle conversation, she finally agreed to try shoulder length with soft layers and a light wave. The transformation was instant. She looked in the mirror, touched her hair, and said, "Oh my goodness, I feel so much lighter, like I just let go of 10 years of weight." And she was right. Long, shapeless hair doesn't just add years visually, it can make us feel tired too. Here's why heavy, shapeless hair works against us. First, it hugs the jaw and neck, pulling the face downward and making any sagging more noticeable. Second, hair naturally thins with age. Without layers, long hair exposes weak, frayed ends and looks lifeless. Third, if your hair is thick, wearing it long in one block hides your features instead of highlighting them. It's like a curtain covering your best expressions. Lastly, long hair takes more time, effort, and product to style. If it's not perfectly maintained, it can easily look messy instead of graceful. If I compared it to fashion, I'd say long, heavy, shapeless hair is like wearing a floor-length gown made of stiff fabric with no tailoring. At first glance, it seems dramatic, but in reality, it swallows you up. Ladies, at 50 or 60, we don't need to chase the longest hair. What we need is hair with movement, softness, and lift, something that lights up the face instead of dragging it down. Holding onto very long hair might feel like holding onto your youth, but if it steals your confidence, isn't it time for a fresh start? That's why I always encourage my clients. Choose a cut that lifts your face and lifts your spirit. You'll feel freer, happier, and most of all, more confident. And speaking of feeling free, next I want to show you a cut that's short, modern, and surprisingly empowering. So many women over 50 have tried it and said, "Why didn't I do this years ago?" I'm talking about the soft, textured Pixie, the third youthful haircut we should all consider. Youthful haircut #3, the soft, textured Pixie. Have you ever spotted a woman in her 60s who just glows, and you realize it's partly her short, effortless haircut? You catch yourself thinking, how is she so youthful and chic? The secret is a style that's short but incredibly feminine, the soft, textured pixie. I'll never forget the first time I suggested a pixie to a 62-year-old client. She waved her hands and laughed. "Oh no, short hair will make me look masculine." We talked it through, and I explained that a modern pixie isn't stiff or severe. When it's cut with soft layers and a touch of lift at the crown, it brightens the whole face. She finally agreed to try. When I turned her toward the mirror, she went quiet for a second, then burst out laughing. "I've never imagined I could look this good with short hair. I feel lighter, and honestly, at least 10 years younger." That's the power of a soft pixie. Here's why it works. It frees your face. The shorter length draws attention to your eyes, cheekbones, and smile, the most captivating features of a mature face. Soft layers add movement. Texture keeps hair from sitting flat or hugging the head. That gentle, touchable motion makes your whole look feel fresh and natural. It's a gift for fine or thick hair. Fine hair looks fuller when it's cut shorter and layered. Thick hair feels lighter and more refined when bulk is removed. It's delightfully low maintenance. No marathon styling sessions. A quick blow dry or even air dry, a dab of lightweight mousse or cream, and you're put together. Beyond the practical wins, a textured pixie sends a message. I'm confident, I'm vibrant, I'm still evolving. You can see that confidence in your eyes and your smile the moment the shape suits your face. Another bonus, a pixie is incredibly versatile. Want something polished? Smooth it down with a touch of cream. Prefer playful and youthful? Tousle it lightly with your fingers. One cut, multiple moods, and each one still looks intentional and stylish. If I compared it to fashion, I'd call the soft pixie a tailored white suit, crisp and modern, yet elegant and feminine. It's that rare balance we're all looking for after 50, strength and softness together. A few pro tips. Ask for soft, piecewise layers and light crown volume to keep the shape lifted. Consider side-swept bangs or a soft fringe to gently blur forehead lines and draw the eye upward. Keep the edges feathered, not harsh, especially around the nape and ears for a graceful finish. Of course, like any great haircut, there's a version to avoid. If a pixie is cut too tight, too uniform, or too blunt, think bowl cut or super stiff crop. It can read stern and aging instead of fresh and flattering. Sadly, many women try that rigid version and assume pixies aren't for me, when really it was just the wrong pixie. Up next, let's talk about that hard pixie trap. Why overly severe short cuts can add years, and how to steer clear so you get all the benefits of short hair with none of the drawbacks. Haircut to avoid #3, the harsh pixie or bowl cut. Ladies, if the soft, textured pixie can make us look vibrant and confident, the harsh pixie or old-fashioned bowl cut can do the exact opposite. A lot of people assume short hair always makes you look younger, but that's not always true. I remember a client in her early 60s who came in and said, "Just cut it all off, make it really short so I don't have to fuss with it." I followed her request and gave her a very cropped, blunt cut with no layers, basically a rigid pixie. When I turned the chair around, she frowned and said, "Why do I look so stern like a strict school teacher?" Even her family, who came with her, agreed that she lost the softness that was so much a part of her personality. That's the danger with a harsh pixie or bowl cut. First, the sharp, tight lines hug the head and emphasize every sign of aging. Instead of lifting, they spotlight wrinkles, sagging, or skin texture we'd rather soften. Second, there's no movement. It looks like a helmet, flat, stiff, and unforgiving. And when hair doesn't move, the whole face feels rigid too. Third, these cuts draw attention to harder areas of the face, like jawlines, mouth lines, or the neck. Most women over 50 want those areas softened, not highlighted. Fourth, the bowl cut in particular makes the face appear rounder and wider, but not in a youthful, fresh way, more in a heavy, dated way. If I compared it to fashion, I'd say a harsh pixie is like wearing a boxy suit made of stiff fabric with no tailoring or softness. It looks severe instead of chic, and it robs you of that easy elegance we crave after 50. Another problem, these cuts leave you with no flexibility. With a soft pixie, you can smooth it sleek for polish or tousle it for fun. But with a rigid crop, no matter what you do, it looks the same, flat and plain. That lack of freedom can make you feel stuck in your own haircut. So here's the truth. Shorter doesn't always mean younger. What matters is softness, lift, and texture. Those are the details that brighten the face and keep you looking approachable and youthful. Which brings us to the next style I can't wait to share with you. A modern lob paired with a soft, light color. It's chic, flattering, and versatile, and it just might become your new favorite youthful haircut. Youthful haircut #4. The modern lob with a soft, brightening color. Ladies, have you ever looked in the mirror and felt like your hair was draining the light from your face? The hair is there, but it feels flat, dull, almost like it's stealing your glow instead of reflecting it. That's when I love to recommend one of the most flattering, youthful options, the modern lob, also known as the long bob, paired with a soft, brightening color. One client of mine, 57 years old, tall with an oval-shaped face, came in with hair past her shoulders, dyed jet black. She told me, "I dye it black to cover the grays, but I just feel so severe and tired all the time." I suggested, let's try a lob that hits right at the collarbone, add some soft layers, and warm it up with a honey brown tone. You'll still cover the gray, but the lighter shade will brighten your whole look. She hesitated, change is scary, but after we finished, she looked in the mirror and said, eyes sparkling, "Wow, I feel like I'm in my early 40s again, soft, elegant, and lighter." So why does a modern lob with a brightening color work so well? The length is perfect. Right at the collarbone, it keeps the femininity of longer hair without dragging the face down. Soft layers and waves add movement. That movement makes the face look fresh and lifted. Gentle, warm tones like caramel, chestnut, or honey act like sunlight on your face. They soften lines, warm up the skin, and bring vibrancy back. It's versatile. Wear it down for a casual day, add waves for a party, or pull it back in a sleek low pony for work. If I compared it to fashion, I'd call the lob with a bright color the silk midi dress. Simple, elegant, and flattering in every setting. It doesn't scream for attention, but it always gets compliments. The key here is balance. Go too dark, and the face can look harsh. Go too light, like platinum, and it can wash you out. But those warm, natural midtones are like turning on the perfect, soft lighting. Your skin glows, your eyes sparkle. Just imagine walking into a family birthday party. Instead of your kids or grandkids saying, "Mom, did you dye your hair?" They'll say, "Mom, you look amazing, so fresh, so radiant." That's the magic of a modern lob with the right touch of color. But remember, color is a double-edged sword. Choose wisely and it will lift your whole look. Choose wrong and it can add years you don't want. And that's exactly what I'll talk about next. The common color mistakes women over 50 should avoid. Hair colors to avoid #4 and #5, too dark or too light. Ladies, we all know color has power. The right shade can brighten your skin, soften your features, and take years off your look. But the wrong shade, it can do the opposite, making us look tired or older than we are. And there are two common traps women over 50 fall into, going too dark or going too light. I'll never forget one client, 60 years old, who told me, "I dye my hair jet black to cover the grays. It feels simple and neat." But when she walked in, that harsh black actually made her face look stern. Her forehead lines and smile lines seemed sharper. To show her the difference, I draped a piece of black fabric behind her shoulders, then swapped it for a honey brown shade. Instantly, her face lit up. She laughed and said, "Why didn't I ever think of this before?" That's the problem with overly dark hair. It steals the light from your face. Skin can look pale or washed out, eyes can appear tired. Sure, jet black might look chic and dramatic in your 20s, but after 50, it often reads as harsh and unforgiving. On the other end of the spectrum, I've seen women try to cheat time with super light blondes or platinum. A friend of mine at 55 went bright golden blonde, and honestly, my heart sank. The harsh lightness washed out her complexion and highlighted every line around her eyes. She looked in the mirror and admitted, "This actually makes me look older, and it doesn't suit me at all." That's because too light shades throw off balance. Instead of enhancing your eyes and smile, they pull all attention to the hair itself. And if your strands are already fine or dry, those glaring blondes only make the problem worse, leaving hair looking fragile and lifeless. So what's the solution? Aim for soft, neutral tones. Warm caramels, chestnuts, honey browns, or subtle highlights blended in. These shades are like the perfect pastel scarf. They don't shout, but they brighten your whole look. They warm the skin, soften fine lines, and give the illusion of thicker, healthier hair. Think about it. Wouldn't you rather people notice your sparkling eyes or healthy glow, instead of staring at harsh color that emphasizes the very things you want to downplay? That's why I always say, avoid the extremes. Not too dark, not too light. The real beauty is in balance. When your hair color harmonizes with your skin tone and your features, you don't just look younger, you look effortlessly modern and elegant. And now, after walking through 5 youthful styles and 5 to avoid, let's take a step back. What are we really looking for at 50 or 60? It's not just a flattering haircut. It's confidence. It's radiance. It's joy. And that's exactly what I want to share with you in our final part, a heartfelt reminder for every woman stepping boldly into this stage of life. Closing, beauty at 60. Ladies, we've just walked through 5 haircuts that can help you look fresher and more youthful, and 5 that are best to avoid so we don't accidentally age ourselves. But more than anything, here's the message I want you to take away. Your hair doesn't just change how you look, it changes how you feel about yourself. Being in your 50s or 60s is not the time to give up on style or grace. Quite the opposite. It's the season where we finally have the wisdom and confidence to choose what feels right for us. No chasing trends, no living under outdated rules. Real beauty at this stage of life shines through confidence, softness, and the glow that comes from within. I've seen it time and time again with my clients. One haircut, one fresh color, and suddenly their eyes sparkle, their shoulders relax, and their smile lights up the room. That's proof that we are never too old to look youthful, modern, and stylish. So give yourself permission. Try that new haircut. Play with a lighter shade. Step into that fresh energy that makes you feel alive again. Because beautiful hair isn't just a crown. It's a reminder that we deserve to live joyfully, confidently, and beautifully every single day. And if you found this video helpful, I'd love for you to subscribe to Bold After 50. Every week, I'll be sharing more style tips, beauty advice, and inspiration made just for women in this incredible stage of life. Together, let's prove that style doesn't stop at 60. It's the beginning of an exciting new chapter.